AI is not going to steal my job, I tell you.
But in real life, this is what Open Energy Monitor is.
So much to learn.
People without money, because I don't need to teach.
Welcome to the UK series.
Hello and welcome to part of our UK series. My name is Mario Dodic. I'm heat pump trainer and founder of HVAC Education Hub, where we talk about heat pumps. Today we are in Edinburgh and our guest is Chapman, CHAPS Heating and Plumbing. Hi Ian.
Hello! Sorry, I'm very excited. This is my first ever podcast.
Yeah, no worry. For me it's third, I think.
Third one. Hey, you just dab hand at it now, you know?
Yeah.
I think time you've done one,
it's fine. It's fine. So for introduction, who is Ian Chapman and what is your background and what are you doing?
I'm getting old, decrepit plumber and heating engineer. I think, well, I'm nearly 50 now. I'm in need of a new hip because of the joys of working on your knees and things like that. Me and my dad started our heating company 2011, so that's like 14 years now. You think it doesn't sound that long, but 14 years, oh man, it feels like 100 years. But we have good days and bad days working for yourself. I think as I got into my mid-30s and I'd spent 15, 16 years working for other people, you always wanted to give it a try. You know, I think in life, regrets are some of the worst things you can have.
Agreed.
So I didn't want to get to my mid-60s having worked for someone else for all my days and thought, I wish I'd have given it a try. So and that was it. Me and my dad got a couple of wrecked old vans, stuck. My missus, my wife, got some labels printed on them. We stuck on them and then away we went. We formed our own company and here we are. Must be doing something right. You know, 14 years later, people have come and gone. I have noticed that been a lot busier in the last few years. Before, when we first started, you didn't really tend to see a lot of heating and plumbing vans going around. Now there's tons of them. I think, which I suppose is a good thing because we need more of them in the UK.
Just a quick reminder, new online educational heat pump platform is available. It is interactive, mobile friendly and ready to use from your PC, tablet or mobile phone. You can find a lot of videos, assessments and interactive elements. Link is in a description below. You said 14 years, I realize you have 14,000 followers on LinkedIn.
Is it?
Yeah, you are quite famous guy.
I think it's because I like to connect to people. To be honest with you, that's a very misleading thing because lots of them is me pinging out connections. I like to connect. I love to hear stories and hear different people's stories and things like that. So, and I suppose it's nice to have a channel or an outlet where you can just explain who you are, what your daily business is like. Some people will not be interested, but I've always been a firm believer if there's something you're not a fan of or not interested in, just scroll past.
Don't be rude. Yeah.
That's it. Just roll on past it. There's no need to be mean and nasty to other people because life's too short for that. There's enough rubbish in the world. Be nice, make people feel good if you can. If you see a picture of a good heating installation, brilliant. You know what I mean? Just the simple things can make people smile. You know?
And in reality, you are very kind on LinkedIn, and what I like is you are posting, let's say, everyday things. So as you said, stories. So I am trying to put some kind of an education, this and that, but you are putting personal stories. For example, boiler swapping with your daughter, which is also really important to mention that you have.
Yes.
You have really
and she
good
likes
support.
It. Yes, with my daughter, I was never sure. She finished school and she had absolutely no idea what she wanted to do. She is on the autistic spectrum, so she didn't really have a lot of courage. And so what me and my dad said to her was that, why don't you come out with us, even if it was 1 week a month, 2 weeks a month, and just start learning as you go. And so we first started bringing her out in August last year, and so far she's done really well. It's nice for me and my dad, because she didn't have a lot of confidence, but now she's interested in trying to do things and learning about it. So just now she's on no apprenticeship. It's literally just working, seeing, doing, learning, in that kind of process. And there was one time we were piping up a boiler, and it was quite a tight wee cupboard, and me and my dad are broader guys, so she was in there piping away, and I asked her how she was getting on with it, and she said, I'm enjoying it. And it was a simple few words, but that made me think, oh, that's brilliant. I would absolutely love her to take over the business one day, or because I have 3 other kids. I've got a son and 2 more daughters, so I think I'm never going to force them, but if they're interested in joining the business, I would absolutely put them through any qualifications they wanted, because I don't know, I suppose it's nice to have a family business, and I think you'd have someone you could trust your business to, you know, rather than just, if none of them wanted it, I'd be absolutely fine with that. When I was getting old, I'd retire, just close the company, and that'd be it. But it'd be nice to have something to pass on to your kids, kind of.
Is it rewarding? Because I have 1-year-old daughter, but is it rewarding? Let's say one of the best thing in the world is to have children, and then if you can pass that knowledge and see, as you explained, it's really rewarding.
It is, and just. There's been times just where she's asking you, even some of the simple things, but it shows that she's learning and she wants to figure out the reason why things happen. So, I mean, I know we're gas boilers mainly just now, but just interesting things about, so we'll do combustion analysis together. So she'll read it out and I'll be saying, right, well, what's the ratio, what's your parts per million, how is that looking? And she'll say, well, it looks all right. And I'm like, well, let's have a look at the manual. And, okay, the manual figures, they look all good to me. Right, give me a printout. And then we'll print it and we'll stick it on a piece of paper. But teaching her what to look for and what to look out for, so to speak. But I don't know if she'd ever sit in a class with 7 or 8 other teenage boys and do an apprenticeship. So trying to get her into the learning's going to be slightly trickier. There is other ways around it. My son might be joining us this year, and so we're going to put him in an apprenticeship. So we could say to Amy, do you want to go on an apprenticeship with your little brother? I know it sounds cheesy, but there'd be someone to hold her hand. You know what I mean? That she knew. Or give her a couple of years doing the smaller courses, say unvented water cylinders, water bylaws, first aid, something like that, just to get her familiar with smaller classrooms that isn't school, that isn't college, just academy type places, and build her confidence up on small courses, and then maybe try and do a modern managed learning program. Don't know if they'll have that over your neck of the woods, but basically over here it's like a 6-month gas course where you get your gas tickets out of it.
But still this, let's say, combination of experience in your company, of some short courses or some online learnings, some videos, maybe this could be this could be the way to...
Exactly. I think there's a lot of good kids out there that maybe aren't set out for learning in classrooms, you know, and
They're different kind of people.
Aye, neurodivergent, and it's a shame that maybe for 30, 40 years, these kids just got branded as not good,
They don't
not
want to learn or something like that.
But they do, it's just they learn in a different way. So it's good that there is a different set of courses out there now that can try and encourage these young people in, because even lots of lady engineers, you've seen them in LinkedIn and Instagram, things like that. Brilliant. I think that's great to see, because we need more numbers out, especially if we're supposed to be in the UK putting 600,000 heat pumps in a year.
How many engineers are missing? Tens of thousands. In Europe also, everywhere is the same.
Is it going to happen in the UK? Absolutely not. There's no way. If it does, I'd be amazed. I wouldn't be sad, because I know the technology works, and you're still, I think in the UK, you're still trying to fight against gas boilers being the only method to heat, you know. Scandinavia, the colder countries, it's been fine for them, because they've ran heat pumps as heating in people's houses for 30, 40, 50 years, maybe more. And it just takes a long time for us over here, because we've been so reliant on gas, to think there is another method that works. You know?
We have, I think, I heard 80 or 90% of the country with gas.
Big gas.
And it's long history, one of the longest in Europe, I think.
Bingo. And
this spark gap, I think this is also in Scandinavian countries. Let's say they have some kind of oil, they don't have a lot of gas, but price of electricity versus oil is one-on-one. It's a no-brainer. Here you have really high spark gap, so it's usually 3 or 4, something like that.
I think last time I looked, it was 3.5, 3.84,
it's a lot.
Something like that.
It's a lot.
That kills it stone dead. Even if you could, I know the government's trying to talk about maybe alternate in some way, shape or form, but I think the sweet spot would be maybe 1 and 2. You know what I mean? If electricity was twice the cost, hey, ideally 1 and 1. I can't see that ever going to happen, because there's too much money for bigger people to lose. But
but in time of use tariffs, PVs, maybe this could work. But I don't agree with people say, also in Croatia is similar, but people say that gas must be more expensive. But in that way, you are attacking people without money, because you know a lot of people they cannot afford more expensive gas.
I know they've got a lot of the grants over here for it. The only thing I can say about heat pumps and green technologies is you're on a loser if you're trying to force it down people's throat. Some people will never adapt. They just won't. But I think there's a large portion of people you need to encourage, show them why we're needing to change to this, show them that if the system's correct and it's installed correctly, it can be as cost effective as gas. As long as you're not saying, oh, this thing's going to save you a ton of money, you know, that's where you're maybe not telling them the truth.
But I think the main issue lies in you have huge experience with gas. Even with gas, if you design low temperature system, and I think in the people's minds, it's like I need 80 degrees, I need to switching on and off. And you have, I can see here in the UK, you have a lot of one glazing windows. Heat loss could be higher, but still,
it's big.
But still, average outdoor temperature is probably around +5, +7. So you don't need that, even in a gas.
No, you're right. And I think boiler manufacturers have started to cotton on to that, because their boilers usually come preset from the factory now about 65 degrees, where even when the first generation of condensing boilers came out here in 2005 to 2010, in fact, even right up to 2 or 3 years ago, it was all preset to 80 degrees, and whenever I'd be fitting boilers, I'd bring the customer round and I'll say, look, we're just going to turn your radiator temperature down to about 60 or 65 degrees. See how you get on with it. If your radiators are warm enough, your house will warm up. It may take a tiny bit longer, but you'll save more money.
Yes.
And I used to give them the car analogies of 2 cars going down the motorway. If you go there at 80 miles an hour, yep, you might arrive a wee bit sooner, but you're going to use a hell of a lot more gas than going 65 or 60, you know? And I think when you try to explain it to people like that, a lot of them did get it. And usually you'd go back next year for service and the temperature gauge still at 65, and so have you noticed any different? Oh no, there's no sun, the radiators were fine, the warmth was great, you know. So that's why I always, even the simple things like that can help save some people money and tiny bits of the environment, you know. If you're not having to rev it up to 80 degrees of flow temperature where it's not needed.
Yes, but even from the comfort point of view, for me it's more comfortable than you have if you have, let's say, low and slow, but still
low and slow. I like that. Yeah. But that
even with the gas, because we are always talking about heat pumps. Yeah, with heat pumps you can see even let's say higher efficiency, but with gas you can save a lot of money with that approach.
I mean, what they reckon in the UK, I mean, you could save tons of people tons of money by just dropping the flow temperatures and making smarter controls, or making sure people have got smarter controls in their boiler. You still see some real beauties going about, just literally switch on, switch off, and you're like...
But what means smart control? People think that smart is only if you have an app, but rarely there is really smart control. What could be the smart control? Even with boilers, I found one analysis also, then you cannot modulate boiler down without, let's say, modulating thermostat.
And to be fair, I think there's been a lot of really good thermostats coming out lately. I think that's another battle you do have of trying to get people up to like a basic entry level of thermostat, especially if you're selling boiler swaps. Usually we'll sell something with open thermos, like a standard wireless thermostat, and then give an option for something like Hive, Nest, something like better that has better modulating controls, geo-fencing, things like that. A lot of time, to be honest with you, they do go for the basic, but at least having a basic like that rather than just it's just a switch on, switch off.
Yeah, like a light.
You know, you try your best to save them money, but also make it as understandable for them. Because I've always been a firm believer that if you try and explain things to people and they understand it, they'll feel more confident using it. And that's what you want. You want people to feel confident with, no just boilers, especially heat pumps. Heat pumps, people need a lot of education about, because it is, for them, so radically different than what they've had before. So I think you're probably on a lot of the early adopters just now. Yep. People that think, I know this works, this is good, fine, I want to give it a bash, you know. Trying to convince a lot of the people is going to be more of a battle. I think it's a battle that can be won, but it's going to be harder to convince them people that it'll do the same. And the only worries I have, where you've seen them yourself, people putting in terrible heat pump installations, and people are paying 400, 500, 600 quid a month in electricity in the winter in this wee heat pumps.
But it's not about the technology.
And that's it. That's the hard one. You know, everyone that's got a wee bit of technical view saying the poor wee heat pump's only trying its best, but no being designed right, no being installed right, no being set up right. Those are your three biggies. If you get them right, there's no doubt it'll work, and it will work in a really efficient manner. That's why I like the open monitor software.
Yeah,
how you've got the
monitor. Yeah,
bingo.
The guys
It's nice. It's nice to see, and I think it's good for that stuff, even for the normal public, to be able to have a look at that and see.
To learn. I learned a lot from the open energy monitor, because we are always calculating. We have heat loss, we have this and that. But in real life, this is what open energy monitor is. In real life, we can see feedback. Yeah, this works. This maybe needs some
tinkering. Do you know what I mean? But you're right though. It gives you a really good insight as to how each system is working, and
visualization. This is the key. The last few days we were also on installer show. You were there.
Yes.
We talk a lot about this visualization, because a lot of engineers, as you, they told me that they like visuals. Because service manual is like 200 pages. You cannot read that, but with visuals, with animations, with this kind of a thing,
you've got straight away tactile feedback that gives you things to look for if things aren't running right. We done a job for a college. They bought a Valent heat pump, air source, Valent ground source heat pump, and they had a solar thermal panel. So again, funnily enough, that must have been a LinkedIn job. The guy that was running the technical side of the college came to me and said, would you be interested in fitting this? And I thought, brilliant, I went there and I looked, and it was literally like a wall like that and a wall like that, wood, and all the gear was there, and I thought, I really want to do this. So I'll be honest with you, I done the job dirt cheap, but I done it to the best I could, just because it was such a great learning experience. You didn't have anyone staring at you, making sure you were finished on time, and then just when we got it up and running, it was quite an enormous satisfaction seeing it up and running and checking everything, and it was just great. I absolutely loved that job. It took me ages because I wanted to make it as neat as possible, but I really enjoyed it. It was great when it actually fired up and you could feel it heating. Brilliant. And you see, I mean, there's definitely so many good engineers.
Yeah, a lot of them.
I'll be honest with you, I'd love to work with these guys, just even for 2, 3, 4 jobs, just to, because I think they must see it in here, and it's like artistry. People can draw, but they see it in there. With me, it doesn't quite come that easy. I have to put a lot more thought in it. But some of these guys do such brilliant installs, and they work really well. I guess like most guys, it's experience, because they've now been putting in heat pumps, some of them for 4, 5, even 10, 12, 14 years. It must become instinctual now,
We chatted about this. You were on a lot of courses about air source heat pumps, but still not fitting them a lot. And you talked, and this is also my opinion, then you need to be comfortable. One thing is a course, it's a fine. You need to watch something to see, but you need to be with that guys.
I can't disagree with you. It's a 4-day course or a 5-day course. It gives you the very basic of knowledge, but if I was to be brutally honest, I think any of the courses like that, they should be minimum 1 or 2 weeks, and then you should be able to work with a really good installer, even if it's just watching them or helping them, do the little bits, just to soak up as much knowledge as you can from them. I know some of them might not be keen on it because then you may be a competitor to them in the future.
But still, it's not, because we are missing a lot of people. There is no competition.
That's it. The pie is huge, and what you've only got is taking tiny slices of it. It's going to be mammoth, and it's only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. But I guess the thing is, if there's no people or not enough people to do these installs, people might get fed up of waiting and then go back to putting in a gas boiler, or just swapping it for electric or oil or something like that. And I think that's going to be a problem, but I don't quite know the answer for that. But definitely I think you need, the course isn't enough. When I worked on that heat pump, I wasn't comfortable. I knew the very basics of what I was doing, and I had a couple of people that were giving me advice, and I'd done it and it worked, but I didn't feel comfortable with it. And I think that's where doing things 2, 3, 4 times to get you feeling used to it would help.
But so, what do you think is the main part? Is it understanding? Because I can say, let's say you have a huge experience. I don't need to teach you how to put 2 pipes together. I think this is not an issue. Maybe understanding.
I guess it's just more system-wise and the hydronics of the system, because it's probably a lot different from what other people have worked at, especially some people that this stuff could have been 15, 20, 25 years ago, that they'd done it in a classroom as a young laddie. Now you're asking them to go back and sit and do it again, and it might just be them that need something more, you know. I think there is apprenticeships in low carbon engineering now. I couldn't be 100% on that, but I'm sure in Scotland and possibly England too, it is, and that's going to be crucial as well. So I think instead of you do your first 2 years as normal, then instead of doing gas in your 3rd year, you'll do low carbon, so heat pumps, solar thermal, solar power, things like that. So if you can get the young people into doing that, that might get us some way towards this big number that we're needing. But
$1 million question, how? Because you also explained about your daughter. It's really interesting industry, and it's really interesting to work on different kind of things: gas boilers, heat pumps, controls, this and that. And for people, it's like it's just a plumbing. I don't want to do that. I want to sit somewhere. This is a question: how do you encourage them?
See, that's the thing, because especially in the UK, for 40 years, say since the 70s, it's all been, you want to do as well as you can in school, then you want to go to university, then you want to come out your university and go into a nice office job. And you've been sticking that down the kids' throats for so long that a lot of them, I'm not wanting to work on a building site or handing up pipes or climbing under floors. But I do genuinely think there's still good kids there that are interested in doing it, but we need to do more about it. There was someone at my daughter's high school, they were having like a trades open day. So it was people for various different trades. And what it was for the second years, so the 13, 14-year-old, things like that. And you had your wee desk, and I literally went in with a press gun and a couple of tons of fittings, but I had the press gun, and then they'd come, you'd have your 3, 4, could be 2 boys and a girl, 3 girls and a boy, anything, just like that, all be groups of 4 that would just do routines. And so basically told them who I am, saying, look, we need to get more more of you guys into the trades. And then literally I got them to put the press gun together, head in, battery in, make sure it was all thing, we'd put the pipe in, press the button, and they'd do a press fit fitting, and then I'd get them to try and take it off because they could see it was tight. But I loved that, you know, and some of them you did see, like the most interested one was a little girl, small, and she could only been like 12, 13 as I say, but she was really interested in the pipe and how it all came apart and went in, and I thought, brilliant, you genuinely got interest.
Yeah,
you could see the neurons firing in their head thinking, oh, that's not actually too bad. And that's what, they need encouragement, you know. How is that going to happen? I've no idea. I can only try and encourage what I can do. I'd love to see all my kids becoming into trades, because I think there's a lot worse jobs out there. You can meet good people, you can have a job for life, and you learn lots. I love learning. I've always...
Yeah, I can see you're always...
Since about my mid-20s, when I'd done, because I didn't do an apprenticeship, literally my dad ran a mechanical side, a semi-large contracting company. So it was building sites, schools, hospitals, things like that were getting done. And I'd just left school, I'd went into college, I got myself 3 hires in English, modern studies and history. So absolutely nothing to do with any of the technology. And he said, well, why don't you come out and just, it's a job, you know, you can earn some money, and then after it you can go back after the summer and go back and do something else at college. And I thought, well, aye, I'll give it a bash, you know. And I really enjoyed it. It was amazing how much it built up my self-confidence, because when you were on a building site with a lot of guys, you had to develop a bit of a harder skin, you know. Not just that, totally conquered my fear of heights, climbing up and down scaffolds all day, brilliant. I've no problem with heights now, whereas before I wasn't keen on it. So I'd done that most of the summer, and then went back to do some more college. I think it was electrical engineering, but my headspace wasn't right, so I fell out of that. And then he said, well, come and we've got another contract that's slightly longer this time. And I went and I done it, and that was it for there. Basically that was in the later 90s, 97 I think I started, so properly. And then I'd done 5 years to like 2002, and then there was a course being offered through in Glasgow, which was a modern adult apprenticeship. What that was, effectively, if you could demonstrate you had 5 years in the trade, you knew how to cut something, you knew how to use a measuring tape, hammer, solder, things like that. What they would then do is they'd teach you the theory. So I had, Friday was my 1 day release. I'd work on sites, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Thursday, and then Friday I'd drive through to Glasgow, and I'd done 1 day there, and I loved it, absolutely loved it. Basically giving you the theory behind heat and vent. So after I'd done my first year, I got my level 2 heating and ventilation, and then I got my level 3 heating and ventilation. So by like 2004 I could kind of class myself as a heating engineer. And so then I'd just done more learning. I'm not talking you to death here, because I can speak and speak and speak.
No,
you just give me the wink if I'm...
Yeah,
but, so then 2 or 3 more years on the building sites, and then I actually went and done my commercial gas. Most people usually do domestic first, then commercial. I'd done my commercial, and then a year later I'd done my domestic. So by like 2008 I'd done the pair of them. And then when I started for myself, I thought, I really enjoy this. I enjoy being in classrooms. I enjoy learning with different people. And so ever since then, I've tried to do something at least once a year, you know.
But I can see you have more of these things. So you like to go also on air source heat pumps. What I like also, let's say in both roles, like as a trainer, but I also like to learn, because you can hear and see different perspectives, and it's always good. Especially also you were with your father at the installer show 3 days. You meet a lot of people.
Oh, brilliant!
Yeah, how was that?
Oh,
It was first time for me.
Well, I went down last year, and basically the event's brilliant.
3 days is not enough.
No, I think if you were going to do it right, you'd need to have a proper plan of all the people you wanted to see, and all the talks that you wanted to listen to, and all the stands you wanted to. But what I find is you've got a rough plan there.
Yes, we did that, but still.
But you get a couple of stalls in, and you see him that you've not seen for a couple of years, or them that you know from Facebook, or them that you've met on LinkedIn and stuff like that. And the plans just go right out the window. You're like, crikey, that's 2 hours later, and I've only seen one stall out of the 5 or 6 I was wanting to go and look at. So yeah, the time just disintegrates, but it's a brilliant show. No, I think the manufacturers obviously enjoy it, but for me it's more a social kind of gathering. There was a huge amount of people there that had really good input. You know, I literally, if I had more time, you could literally sit all day and listen to people speaking.
Yes.
But then you wouldn't see anyone else, and you wouldn't see that. But I managed to get to a couple of talks, and the rest was purely just meeting people, which was great. But it's nice because there's a lot of people that are of similar opinions, but even different opinions. It's nice to hear a bit of variety. You know,
a lot of people care. So you have huge experience, and you know people from different manufacturers. I have background working for manufacturer. People usually think they are someone somewhere at the top looking, but guys are like you and me, are still working in these manufacturers, and they are trying to do their job properly, because you will hear, they want money, they want this and that, but still a lot of good people in different companies, in different trades.
And I think that's it. I think I'm a firm believer that there's more good people out there than bad.
I'm the same.
And I think there's more good people out in the trades and out in manufacturers and out in learning. I think the quality of learning establishments in the UK has really started to go up, because you've got trainers that want to do it right. They know we're in a big skills shortfall here. So
they have a passion. A lot of them have a passion.
Bingo, that's the key word, passion. I think if you've got that takes care of a lot of it, you know. So a lot of these people out there realise that we need to do more, and I think it's about trying to take steps properly in that direction to do more.
But a lot of in media, in our talks, everywhere, it's like, oh, we need tens of thousands of gas engineers to upscale heat pumps. You are one of them. We are now talking, but there is no one size fits all solution.
No.
So someone wants to learn, someone doesn't want, someone wants, as you said, early adopters. Maybe someone is not. I think we need to not say attack, but from different angles.
And I definitely agree with you. We need the current framework, for want of a better word, especially in the UK, isn't going to get us where we need to go. I think there's got to be big discussions about it. I would like to see us getting more heat pumps installed, but I genuinely don't think there's enough people that feel confident, or it's a lot of hassle for a wee mob like me and my dad. You really need at least one person that would run an office that would deal with all the paperwork on it, and then you need another at least squad, so 3 engineers, 1 commissioning guy, so 4 of you that could work on these systems week in, week out. I think at least, you know, so that's straight away 5 guys you're looking at. And the amount of paperwork.
But maybe solution is what I can see that it could be solution, that different companies, so I don't know, your company and 3 or 4 others as a one team, let's say.
Funny enough, one of my mates did suggest something similar, and I could believe it, you know what I mean, and I'd be quite happy to do that, and that is actually a good idea. The only thing is finding people keen enough to work with other people.
This is,
you know what I mean? But as a general look, if someone got the job, said, look, all the funding's there, I'll give you X, 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 and we can all work together.
And 1 plus 1 equals 3, not 2.
Exactly. That, I think, could work. We need some kind of structure, because just now you've got the big companies swallowing up all the easy ones, you know, and then you've got a lot of the small to medium companies that are doing great work, but they could be fitting heat pumps till the end of time and we still wouldn't get there. Then there's a lot of small people like me that are interested in it, but don't have the physical capabilities to do it. And I think it's a figure, I don't know if it's true or not, that small companies like me are 60-70% of the labour market. So unless or until you try and convince those people to come on and start fitting heat pumps, don't think you're going to get anywhere near 600,000. I think, what was it last year, we were 50 or 60,000 heat pumps. So, that was by 2028, I'm sure that figure was originally. So in 2.5 years, we've got to go from 60,000 a year to 600,000 a year. Not going to happen. And I do salute them for trying, but something needs to be thought about somewhere.
What I heard also, I don't know, from someone on installer, that even if we can make these numbers, but for sure it will be hard to have good installations.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Unless you could take all the good people and clone them.
But how?
You know what I mean? That's the only way I could think. Because what then also worries you is, you've seen the ropey installs, and bad news travels faster than good.
Always.
So all you need is a few more of these, and then it resonates to other people, and people pass on bad news, and that's what I'm worried about from just a general point of view, is a lot more of these bad installations being put in, and then the general public gets swayed against going for heat pumps. I think another thing is, in the UK, because for 30 odd years plus we got swept along in the combi boilers. So, alright, well, your cylinders go, you can have your cupboard back, Mrs. Jones, it'll just be this nice wee boiler in your cupboard. You've also now got to fight against people saying, well, I didn't want my cylinder back. I've spent 25 years with a combi boiler, which means I've got the cupboard up there for all my washing and drying and things like that now have to give space back up if they're wanting to do it.
Yeah, but it's hard to explain that heat pump is just boiler in the garden.
It's very good, yes.
I heard this analogy, but it's a lot of work to explain this and to put it in work. And as you mentioned that we are missing a lot of the people, but I think every one of us could start. So you're posting a lot of pictures, I'm posting something, so I can see your photo, I can learn something, or I can ask. So social media is really good for that point, and we can encourage everyone to share, even if it's not excellent installation, but okay, someone will
someone
comment,
say, you could have done that this way. Definitely. I think I've always enjoyed sharing information. I love learning, so if someone else wants to learn and I can help them learn, I'll be more than happy to try and give them as much information as I can. But I think if we've got more people like that, and we have got a lot of really, really Nathan gambling, you know what I mean? There's so many good guys that have spent many, many hours doing podcasts, posts, videos, things like that, and trying to share knowledge, which is great. I mean, I think the only problem is it'd be good if there was some central library where all this stuff was.
I'm thinking about something like this, but
something where it was all still different people, right? Okay, that's more installation-y, that's more facts and figures. I've got Ian's Edgeworth's wee book that I need to sit down and read. Sorry, Ian. I managed to get a copy of that, so I need to go and give that a good read. But I read his first one, and it's nice, it's good to see people kind of maybe stepping out their comfort zones into trying.
For me also, let's say, do some podcasts, step out of the comfort zone.
Podcast.
Yes. But
exactly.
Maybe someone can see this, and we can encourage someone, even one person.
That's all you've got to do. If you can encourage just one person, they might encourage someone else, and it just creates a flood of, hopefully, people looking for information, looking to try and do the training. I mean, and try and do it right. I think
with the right idea. So with right reasons.
I mean, and no one's. I don't think anyone's going to go from banging in combi boilers to absolutely beautiful heat pump installations
it's not the point.
Space. As long as you've designed it right, you follow the instructions, and you've tried your best, and you've nailed most of the installation, you'll get there and you work and you learn from it. You
learn from mistakes.
Exactly.
How hard is to learn from mistakes for you?
That was it. I've always been a firm believer that you learn more when you make a mistake than you'll ever do if things go completely smoothly, because you then have to think, what have I done wrong? What's not going right here?
Yes.
And it then takes you get right into looking at it and looking at the problem. So, but yeah, I mean, I can't see heat pumps blowing up in the UK soon. But even then, having said that, for where we've come in 5 years, I think we've done pretty damn well.
Yes.
It's 5 years ago, it was real early adopters, and you still struggled to see any out in the wild.
And it was hard to learn. Now you have a lot of
teachers, lot of academies.
Yes, I'm putting some videos. Ian is writing a book. Someone is sharing a post. So a lot of guys.
Given time and information, and I'm sure there's a lot of people as well that I'd probably feel quite confident in phoning up and saying, look, I'm doing a heat pump here, something's not quite right, is there any chance you could give me a wee bit of knowledge about it?
Yes.
I think if there was some reference point for general people doing installations, that they could speak to someone that had a wee bit of knowledge. I mean, I know people will say, call the manufacturers.
But manufacturers...
sometimes is he going to think I'm stupid?
Because I've been working for manufacturer, and everyone expects all answers from manufacturer. But
at the end of the day, it's someone sitting on a phone trying to compute what you've said.
And still it's heat pump, it's only one part of the system, as Nathan says. So I can have, let's say, heart of Usain Bolt, but if I have 50 kilograms more,
Aye, you're not going to go the same. Aye.
The same is with heat pumps. So you need a system, and then manufacturer needs to think, what is the system, what is the house, what is the control, what is the end user.
And it's hard. It's impossible. It's impossible for them guys. They only know one part of the system, and if it's put in right, then great. But as you say, if any of the three installation, design and commissioning are wrong, it could be the best heat pump in the world, but it's going to suffer, you know, which is a shame, because I genuinely feel sad a wee bit when you see a lot of these, my heat pump's costing me this. Especially, there's the Heat Pump UK on Facebook, where you get a lot of people on there.
Paul Spence, excellent.
Bingo,
group.
excellent Paul,
group.
That was it. I'm glad you said it. I knew it was Paul, but I knew it was.
But excellent group.
That's magnificent. That's so good, because I think the general public, they need to know a wee bit more this time. It's not just press that button and you'll get your heating.
Plug and play.
That's it. We've moved beyond that, and I think they generally need to be a little bit more proactive in trying to get the basics of information. Usually I've found with people, if you try and explain it well in a proper manner, they're more likely to get the basics of it. And even if they've got the basics, it maybe makes them feel a wee bit more confident with it. But that's what I think as well. Joe Public needs to do a bit more research here. They need to think, right, is this right for me? How is the right way to control it? Is my system right? Things like that. And I think they need better education too. But it's nice.
How? This is a question. I'm asking everyone about education, but let's say with you, one of the last questions I want to ask, you are in people's homes every day. A lot of old people, young people, busy people. We'll be back in a conversation in a few seconds. Just one reminder. We launched a new online educational platform, Heat Pump Bootcamp. You can learn at your own pace on your PC, mobile phone or tablet. You will find a lot of interesting videos, assessments, interaction and quizzes. Feel free to reach out and to check. Link is in the description below. What they want, what they need. They want only cozy home. This is what they want.
I can't deny that, yes. Something cheap that gives them heating and gives them hot water.
Because after food and drink, heating is the most important.
Exactly, which is great. AI is not going to steal my job, I tell you.
Yes, but AI, I can say that we can use the help of AI with scaling, with these online things.
AI, I have no problems with AI. If used right, it's going to be a fantastic tool for humanity.
Cannot change people in the trades.
That's it. Sure. No, yet we're a wee bit away for that. So. But I always use please and thank yous with AI, because when it takes over the world, it's going to be remember that wee gas guy for Edinburgh was nice to it, and it might not bomb me. See, clever.
Yes, but you know how many electricity we are spending for these servers, and someone put that when everyone says thank you, we are spending huge amount of electricity.
Crazy.
What would be your last message for listeners, broad listeners, probably engineers, policymakers, end users? What would be your message for? I ask everyone the same. So, for someone who wants to enter the industry, what will be the advice? Where to start? How to enter? It's interesting.
Absolutely, go for it. There's so much to learn, and as we briefly previously discussed it, if you're interested and you try. And you could have a job for life, which is something that almost no other people can say. So, I mean, the trades is almost unique that way. But you have to want it, you know? You have to, I'm not saying you have to try and learn something every single day of the week, but just keep your brain fresh, because there's so much out there to learn that I think if you say, I know everything, then you're as well giving up and going trying something else, because it's impossible to know everything. And I still try and do 1 or so courses a year just to keep the brain fresh. There was, I know it was a wee short, but there was one guy on the unvented hot water qualification I was doing, and he was in his early 80s, 83 he was, and I thought, brilliant. I thought that'll probably be me in 35 years' time, but it was just brilliant to see old and new learning. And so never give up on learning as well, and always enjoy it.
Yeah, one of the last question and message. Thank you.
Absolutely, been my pleasure, pal. You're a legend. A legend.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. You are also a legend. You are also a legend.
Oh, that was very good.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for listening. This is part of our UK series, and check other videos on our channel. See you.